Hey, what's with you? You lazy lily-livered legume? Why ain't you sharpening up them pool cues? The big game's tonight! All those guys who wear suits and have mustaches and lean up against walls is gonna be there.
I don't feel like playing tonight.
Who was talking about you?
Me?
Dadgummit! Alright. What's the problem now?
I have a zany problem. It's that I'm sad.
Jumpin' Jehoshaphat! Seems as though you have an emotionally crippling whatchamacallit dang near every week.
I know. And it's always on Mondays. At 9:30 on PTV, Channel 69. We also have a YouTube channel.
Dan, I'm being serious here. I think you need help.
Help? From someone else? You always struck me as more of a DIY kind of guy.
I don't know what that means. But what I'm saying is, I think you need to see a specialist. A shrink, I says!
I'm happy with my height. It affords me with the commanding presence that I thrive on.
Gee, Williams and Sonoma, I'm saying you needs a therapist!
Well, you need to control your anger better.
Well, that's what I'm going to work on right now. In my therapy session.
John, we have to work on the show, okay? There's no time for all that. There's no time to learn about a subject as vast as psychology. I mean, what am I supposed to do, huh? What am I supposed to do? Just make psychology the theme for this week's episode?
Yes.
They're good. Oh, hey. Didn't see you there. Hi, I'm Dan Rosensweet of Interviewing Dan Rosensweet with Dan Rosensweet. Mondays at 9:30 on PTV. You know, I'm a great guy. Great talk show host, great humanitarian, great philanthropist, great gymnast, great usurper of power, great thought provoker, great scientist, great floor scrubbist, great donkey. But you know, I found sometimes that some people don't seem to recognize my greatness quite as clearly as I do. And, I mean, it's interesting, because it's just so obvious. But, you know, I think the issue may be that people... that people aren't seeing me as clearly as they would need to. That their own minds are not... at the level of clarity that they need to be in order to properly understand what it's like for someone to be just as Dan fabulous as I am. Wouldn't you say?
Whatever.
That's what I would expect someone who's not me to say. But that's okay. Yeah.
I just wanted you to know that I think you're a load of bunk!
Thanks, John. See, this is exactly...
And that's why I'm wearing your coat! Because you're a load of bunk! And you don't deserve a good coat!
See, this is exactly the kind of thing that I'm talking about.
I worked years to get a coat! You know what the coat was?
Was it...
a popcorn bag! A popcorn bag! And you ain't nothing but a load of bunk! And you got a coat like this?
I'm sorry, Dan. It's just so sad to me that some people can't recognize how I'm not a load of bunk. Yes, I am a load of bunk. But the only reason that I am a load of bunk is because I am representative of most everything on this physical plane. And what I was getting at before is that I think people might need help seeing that. Today on the show, we are going to be visited by someone, by a professor, one who professes. Professes what, you may ask? The secrets of psychology. We are having a professor professed from the SUNY Purchase Psychology Department to learn how perhaps all this craziness needs to end. And in fact, it should stop now. Because I'm Dan Rosensweet. Ow! And I'm a really swell guy. With a great show. I'm not going to do any jokes today because really this is no joking matter. And although they are funny, and I'm sorry I have to do this to you, it's just going to be how things are. What? It's just going to be how things are today. Because today, more than any other day, is about education. Because although I'm a great entertainer, I mean that's indisputably true. Perhaps there's a lesson to be learned in that, but although I am a great entertainer, I also think that education is of the utmost importance. Therefore, we will be speaking with Professor Dr. Stephen Flusberg of the SUNY Purchase Psychology Department. Here at PTV, which is the home of Interviewing Dan Rosensweet with Dan Rosensweet, which is the show you're watching. So stay with us. In the meantime, while the cameras aren't on, I'm going to read. Play me off, Ewan! Cut. Well, look who's back again. Hello, Dans. I'm here with Professor Flusberg of the SUNY Purchase Psychology Department. So, Professor, why are you here?
I'm pretty sure you emailed me about 35 times to get me in here.
I sure did, and I'm so excited about it. And we're going to have an interview. But before I delve into that, look at this. This is something new bought with the Dan Rosensweet Fund for doodads and widgets. And it's an egg timer. And it's here because, Professor, now we time these interviews so as not to go too long. And remember, you always have your Dan bucks if you want to buy more time. Right? Yeah. Okay. Let's give it a go. Here we go. All right. So, Professor. All right. Now, as always, when I talk to professors, I like to ask a little bit about what they do here and their area of interest.
Okay. Well, I'm a cognitive psychologist.
So, like with cogs.
Yeah, metaphorical cogs. The metaphorical cogs in your mind.
Oh.
So I study things like perception, memory, learning, language, how people think, and I teach classes on said subjects.
That sounds like it would take a really long time to explain to people.
It would. It does. Pretty much a lifetime.
So this is, well, you look like a relatively young man then, so this journey is just beginning.
I am a lot older than I look.
I doubt that.
I'm 57 years old.
Is that right?
No.
Okay, well, how old are you? He's not going to tell me. Let's see if he does.
That's an inappropriate question.
Why?
You don't ask someone how old they are.
But why?
Again, it would take too long to explain.
I'm trying to be psychological about it, but he knows all my tricks.
I do.
Yeah. Okay. The next question then, of course, is what is your favorite ever psychological study that has ever been done? And also, if any animal could talk, which one?
I'm going to go with the second question first.
Okay.
And I'm going to say any animal could talk, which one? No, wait, hold on. Can I ask a clarification question?
Absolutely.
Is it which one I would like to talk, or is which one would be most likely to talk if one could that wasn't a human?
Which one of your answers is more interesting?
I don't think either one's particularly interesting or amusing.
Okay, fair enough. Then the second one.
Which one is the most likely to be able to talk?
Oh, wait, no, first one.
First one, which one
Yeah.
would I like to talk?
Yeah, definitely.
I'm going to go with earthworm.
Okay, I like that one.
Yeah.
I don't even think you need to clarify that one.
Nope.
Yeah, no.
So as to your first question, was that the timer?
Oh, no, it's just doing things. It's just cough.
So what was the first question again?
The first question is, what is your favorite
My favorite.
ever?
Yeah, my favorite experiment. Okay, I'll tell you. My favorite experiment ever is the Scary Bridge experiment.
Ooh.
And what it showed is how we can misinterpret the source of our own arousal not being used in the sexual sense, but in the sort of stress response of the body, the energy response of the body, and how we can misinterpret the source of it, and thereby, by misattributing the source of arousal, we can experience emotions and feelings that have been induced by the experimenter rather than by our own kind of analysis of the world. All right, that's the boring part. Let me tell you the fun part.
Ooh.
There's a really long, scary suspension bridge in Vancouver.
Uh-huh.
And so when you walk across it, it waves. It's really frightening,
Yeah.
right? It gets your heart rate going.
Does it wear a
high
mask?
arousal. Does the bridge wear a mask? No.
Okay.
But what it does is it sways. So if you walk across it, your heart rate's going to go up. You're going to get a little nervous. And what they did in this study was they had an attractive female research assistant approach people either before they got on the bridge or while they were kind of halfway across or at the end. So if they approach you before, your heart rate's not up. If they approach you while you're in the middle of the bridge, your heart rate's up because that's the natural response to being in this scary situation.
Right.
She asks you to fill out a brief survey. You do so. You're a heterosexual male in this study. She's only approaching men. And then she says, look, if you want to know the results of this study, here's my number, give me a call. And what they found was people were much more likely to call her, all right, to try to kind of talk to her, basically, if she had approached them while they were in the middle of the bridge. And in fact, they're more likely to be attracted to her romantically or sexually. This is the idea. When you meet someone you're attracted to physically, your heart rate goes up. It's those butterflies in the stomach. I think most of us are familiar with that feeling. And so here, your heart rate was already up because you're crossing this bridge.
Okay.
And yet now this attractive member of the opposite sex is approaching you, and you misattribute the source of your arousal to her. In other words, your brain is automatically assuming that she's the one causing you to feel this kind of increased heart rate and high level of arousal, and so you're more attracted to her.
Well, that's a very impressive study. Now, psychological experiments, as I understand them, there's a certain level of trickery behind them. I mean, this is really. Is there any psychological study you can? Because this one, of course, they're pulling a fast one on these fellas.
There's some trickery.
Yeah, is that the idea? Is part of being a good experimental psychologist knowing how to trick people?
No, I would say most studies do not involve deception.
Okay.
But it's a useful tool because what you're trying to do is test a theory about how our minds and how our behavior works. And therefore, sometimes to do that, you need to put people into a situation where they think one thing is going on so that you can subtly manipulate a different variable that they're not aware of. But in most of my own research, we don't use any deception. for example.
Was that a guarantee you put it on the forums before they come inside?
We actually do.
Oh, good.
We actually do.
Because people are so petrified of that?
They are, and you have to go through a lot of review before you can run any experiment on people at any university in the United States. So all of my studies get reviewed by an ethical board here.
And then they send you out with a whoopee cushion and see how you do with people.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Well, that's. I also have to say that scary bridge thing could be a great joke somehow. I'm sure there's a.
Well, I'll tell you, it's not a joke, but there's a reason that horror movies often come out during Valentine's season. It's because they're great date movies for the exact same reason that this study works. So let's say you and I are on a date.
Okay.
This just got inappropriate because you're a student. Let's say you and someone else are on a date, another student that you liked. Sorry. And you bring them to a horror movie. They start getting scared, right? Their heart rate's going up because of all the scary things on the screen. Well, they might misattribute the source of the arousal to you. So if you pull one of those, like, stretch your arm, put your arm around, they might automatically conclude that they're more attracted to you than they normally would be.
I mean, I can't see how they'd resist that move from the get.
It never fails.
No matter how fast their heart is pumping, this move, always a good one.
Yeah, actually, please don't do that move.
Oh, all right.
Okay.
See, don't we love learning? I love it. Okay, so the last question. I think that was actually... Did this just not ring?
It's literally the worst timer ever.
This thing stinks. Who bought this? Who did this to me?
What's the budget for this show?
Enough?
2 halfpennies.
All right, so, well, I guess there's another question I really want to ask you. I'll just say that off the bat, but do you want to spend your Dan bucks?
How many do I have?
You have 5 Dan bucks.
Can I exchange them for real bucks?
No, what you can do is use them outside of this interview to hang out with me in person. That's the only other thing they're
Let's
good
just
for.
ask the question.
Okay, so how many Dan bucks do you want to spend?
I guess all of them?
Okay.
Well, what time is it? I gotta go.
Wait, let's
Now
see.
ask the question. Ask the
All right,
question.
you got time.
Yeah.
Okay. That was a very good segue, Professor, talking about Valentine's Day, because now, I don't mean to spill the beans here, but you're widely considered to be very dreamy, Professor. I've heard this, that's word about Quad is that you're a very dreamy professor. And I'd like you to discuss your feelings on being dreamy while relating it to Freud's interpretation of dreams.
Okay. Wow.
How's that? Huh? Wasn't that worth your Dan bucks?
That is the creepiest question I've been asked today. Well, I'll tell you, being dreamy, I don't consider myself that dreamy.
Good disclaimer to put on top of that.
Yeah, I'm very flattered.
I'm
glad you find me so appealing as a professor.
Hey, no, this is based on studies I've done.
That's fine.
Yeah.
So, look, Freud's interpretation of dreams. Now, Freudian theory is a little bit out of fashion in contemporary psychology. A lot of what he based his theories on were keen observations, but he had a literary air about his work. But he was a brilliant writer, and I do recommend people read his stuff. Just don't take it too seriously.
Okay.
But he had very interesting ideas about dreams, that the images and events that occurred in dreams were symbols, symbols of a deeper unconscious set of thoughts, feelings, desires. We no longer really think that's how dreams work. But it's certainly an interesting idea. So relating it to your question, I would say that the potential attraction that a student might feel towards me is really just a symbol of their love of learning. And I take it as a compliment that my style of teaching can inspire a desire to learn and progress in academic careers.
That was actually some of the best deflection I've ever seen in my entire life.
Thank you.
Are you a fencer?
No, but I wish I were.
Aha.
I always wanted to learn how to use a sword.
I'm asking the hard-hitting questions
Yeah.
now. But
Really digging deep.
Now, wouldn't Freud say if you want to learn how to use a sword... No, we won't get into that. That's totally...
Please don't.
Okay, fair enough. Finally. So, of course, I wanted to ask a question that has to do with therapy. I was trying to think about how to do it, and then it occurred to me. So, you have the opportunity to go on a whirlwind adventure with any 2 famous psychologists from history. Now, these are more, maybe, the therapy sorts, or the experiment, whatever you want. But then, when you're on your adventure with them, something happens where the 2 get into an awful argument. And they just are so mad, and they just kill each other right in front of you in a death match, and you're traumatized. And so then, what psychologist would you go to work out your traumas?
All right, well, I'm going to preface this with the fact that I'm not a clinical psychologist, as we've already talked about.
Experimental, like Frank Zappa.
You know, he was a brilliant psychologist,
I think he was, yeah.
But I will, so the two psychologists I would choose are not going to be of the clinical persuasion. So I'll tell you who I'd choose. I would choose B.F. Skinner.
Okay.
Very famous psychologist who, big in the behaviorist movement, a radical behaviorist.
Did he do the monkey thing?
He did not do the monkey thing. What he did, no, he did a lot of training of pigeons and rats, though.
Yes.
Quite brilliant man, a brilliant writer. He actually wanted to be a writer before he became a psychologist. And then later he did write some books, including a novel called Walden 2, sort of a sequel, utopian sequel to Thoreau's Walden. I recommend it.
All right.
Although some people view it as dystopian. Anyway, I would choose B.F. Skinner, and I would choose my favorite perception psychologist, James Gibson, or J.J. Gibson.
Gotcha.
And the reason I would choose them is they were both extremely brilliant and extremely charismatic. So they each kind of had a lot of, they attracted a lot of attention in students, and they really changed the face of the field. They also, in my opinion, had a lot of agreement in their views about the nature of the mind and behavior, although Gibson really positioned himself against behaviorism, sort of really argued against it, and that's why I think it's plausible that they might get into a fight to the death. All right?
Fair.
So let's imagine we're on our adventure.
Okay.
They fight to the death.
Sure.
I'm feeling a little bit scarred.
Okay.
Now, there's many schools of therapy. So there's the Freudian psychodynamic or psychoanalytic school, which is still practiced to this day, although not as much in fashion as it once was. There's cognitive behavioral therapy, which is based on behavioral theories of Skinner and others, as well as kind of more cognitive-oriented treatment styles. Very popular, empirically validated to treat many forms of disorder, including trauma. But you know who I would go to would be Carl Rogers, who is the founder of one of the founders of the humanistic approach to therapy that was very client-centered. So he referred to the people he met with as clients rather than patients, and he regarded them with sort of unconditional positive regard and empathy, and just would listen as they talked and was really nice and supportive. I think he'd make me feel better.
Sounds like a regular Mr. Rogers.
Ooh.
No? All right. Well, that's fine. You won't have to see... That was a whopper of an answer, and you won't have to see Flussberg get angry with me about what I just said, because the timer's run out. You wouldn't know it, because it didn't do anything. But it did.
Yeah, I don't know why you said it again.
Because that way we got to do the ticking the whole time, and that made us both feel very uncomfortable.
Can I also say I don't know why I gave that answer, since my previous answer was how much I inspired a love of learning, and I'm pretty sure anyone watching this, all 5 people, stopped when I started giving my previous answer.
Hey! 5? Maybe like right this second, and all the other seconds there's also 5. That's a ton of people. Anyway, we're going to be back in a second after this sketch that we're going to watch. Right here. So come back. All 5 of you.
Ah, Germany. Ah, my beloved son Freud. Did you have a good class at the surgery school today?
Nein, Papa.
Oh my God! You had 9 good times? You're so drawn to learning. You're a champion of my affections.
Father, I dropped out of the surgery school.
Freud, this is not Uber. What were you thinking?
I want to follow my passion.
Do not use that word in my backyard, you ungrateful knackwurst.
I want to be a therapist.
What in the name of 99 note balloons is that?
It is a job I made up, for it is all I care to do.
I feel it. The palpitations, my heart is breaking, you swine!
You just do not understand, Papa. I am sensitive.
A sensitive son! In my own backyard!
Papa, listen. I will create a new type of medical practice. It will be called therapy. It is means that people will lay down on a couch and tell me what's wrong. It is what the people need.
What you say is garbage. What the people need is surgeons, not birds. Where has talking about anything ever gotten anyone? Look at the Hamburglar. He is verstunk.
But, Papa!
No buts.
Why no buts? Were you stifled in the anal stage of your development?
What are you talking about? I cannot believe this. Look where progressive ideals have gotten you. When I was a child, life was terrible. Now here you are in Germany in the late 1800s. Life is great, you have it made.
But I need more!
I will tell you what you need. You need to follow the path I have set out for you. Go to surgery school. Become a surgeon. Rise through the ranks and then reach the highest peak of the medical profession. Podiatrist. Doctor of the noble foot. Not doctor of the word problems. That is insane.
I can cure insanity, Papa! This is one of the things I plan to do!
Nine. Insanity can only be cured the way mine was. Through a crippling obsession with the human foot. Look, son. It is beautiful.
9! Its beauty does not compare with that of the human mind! Father, you know not what you do. I cannot stand life here with you anymore. I have grown to hate you. I dream of killing you and sleeping with Mama. And these dreams have meaning, Papa.
Oh, yeah. Dreams have meaning. You mean to tell me my dream, where I go to Las Vegas and get married to a giant foot, has meaning? Ha ha ha! Is funny.
One day, Papa, you will see. I am going to be a star.
Oh, yeah. Look out, everybody. Freud is going to be a star. How are you going to be a star? With no money and no real job.
I will sleep on couches, which I will then have therapy with people on. I will eat much schnitzel ramen. I will stop shaving.
You are serious?
Yeah, man, Papa. I have sold the scalpels that you got me for Yule to buy a pen and a notepad.
That scalpel was going to buy you a position in the world of touching feet. Get out of my backyard. I've like 50 other kids anyway.
I hope one of them makes you proud. Give Mama a kiss on the mouth for me. Guten Tag.
Welcome back, Dans. So, naturally, this show would not be called Interviewing Dan Rosensweet with Dan Rosensweet if we did not interview Dan Rosensweet with Dan Rosensweet. Wouldn't you agree, Professor?
Yes.
That's the right answer. So far, you're doing well. And, therefore, since it is the psychology episode, I don't just want to sit here and be asked a question. I want to lay here and be asked a question. And I'll take this sound recorder with me. All right. What do we got?
If you were a Power Ranger, which one would you be and why?
Okay. Well, let me first systematically go through and figure this out.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be the Red Ranger, because he's kind of the leader, and that seems like a lot of pressure. Mm-hmm. Now, I remember there was some issues with the Green and the White Ranger, because the Green and the White Ranger betrayed the rest of the team. Besides him, there was the Black Ranger, Blue Ranger, Pink Ranger, Yellow Ranger. And I always thought, actually, that I always liked the Blue Ranger because he always seemed like a trustworthy guy. Like, he always supported the Red Ranger even when he was difficult. Mm-hmm. But the Red Ranger never like cared. He just didn't care. And then when the Green Ranger,
I'm sensing some trauma.
No, it's fine. No, it's nothing. I'm sorry. I'll answer the question. So yeah, but I don't. Then when the Green Ranger betrayed the team, I remember the Red Ranger and the Blue Ranger were able to work it out. But then I was little, and I just thought, like, is this how people have to feel love for each other? Do they have to experience great loss and great suffering to experience the love that they share? Why does it have to be that way? Why does it have to do that? And And then the Pink Ranger and the Yellow Ranger were always, they were always nice. I watched the show a long time ago.
And how did that make you feel?
What, at the time?
Or not?
I guess it was good. I enjoyed it ultimately. I don't know, but then, you know, it's the monsters start out small, but then they turn big, and then you defeat your monsters, and they don't seem so big anymore, I guess.
And have you been through an experience like that recently?
Well, not too long ago, I was at an intro to psychology class, and at the beginning, it seemed like a big, large monster, but then I used all the different dinosaur parts, and I put them together, and eventually I was able to conquer the monster that is experimental cognitive psychology.
Wait, was that Power Rangers or Voltron? Was there a difference between those?
Wait, wasn't the first generation of Power Rangers also the ones with the dinosaur helmets? I think they recycled dinosaurs a few times.
Pretty sure you weren't even born when this show was on, right?
You don't know when I was born. That wasn't the question either, so I'm not going to tell you. Yeah.
All right, next question.
All right.
If you were a bird,
okay,
and you had to live as a bird,
oh, all right,
but also make friends with a non-bird animal, which bird would you be and which non-bird animal would you make friends with?
Okay. Interesting.
I don't mess around.
No, you sure don't.
These are straight from the psychology handbook.
Are they? Okay. Well, I didn't know who I was bringing on here today. Well, you know, okay, if I were a bird, I'd probably want to be a seagull, and then I would want to be friends with a dolphin. Primarily because I think they both have very funny voices and they'd have a lot to talk about in that regard. And then they live in the same area, but they couldn't hang out all the time because the dolphin primarily lives under the sea. And therefore, we wouldn't get sick of each other, but we'd always have a good time fishing.
But for you, the primary quality you associate with your animal brethren is their voices.
Oh, no, what did I do?
No, I don't know. You tell me.
Do you think that means I have a problem with my voice? Because I don't have any issues with my voice. I think
Are you sure?
Yeah, it's a perfectly fine nasally gross voice.
We're really getting somewhere today. By the way, this is going to be $200.
Can I pay you in Dan bucks?
No.
I'll go get my.
Yeah, just get your wallet.
I'm gonna go get my wallet.
So, hey there, Dan's, it's a long time no see, it's me again, the editor. Hope you're enjoying this episode on psychology. It's a great episode, great writing, great acting, great editing. I hope you appreciate it. I'm really upset. Nobody has taken up my offers to hang out. You know, we've had 2 episodes where I put myself out there, and that really hurts that it's just not getting through. I don't know what to say. It's a real kick in the pants, as they would say in France. I could really go for a freezy pop right now. Why'd you steal all my stuff, man?
Because all mine was lost in the twister.
All I had to do was just ask. Why do I even work for you? I'm quitting! No, I'm not. I need this job.
Hey! Hi, Dans. How are you? Nice to see you again. Hope you enjoyed all that other stuff. But now it's time for even more things. Hello, I'm here with Josh and Azario. Is that correct?
I mean, Prince J, Asthma.
Yeah.
Ah, yes, of course. I'm sorry. Those are the other two guys. This is Prince J and Asthma, and they are two members of
Tri-State area.
Tri-State
TSA.
area.
This microphone doesn't work, so I don't know why you're talking. It's not even but that's good.
Right.
It's all an illusion. But tri-state area is not an illusion.
No.
Now
Very real.
It's real what?
Real
music.
Music. Okay. Well, good. And real. Now that's interesting. You see, this episode you two are on. I'm not sure if you're aware. This is the psychology-themed episode of this show.
Awesome.
Did not know this.
What does
Right.
that mean for the show?
Well, it just means that this idea of realness has an interesting connotation today. Now, I'm curious, both of you. Now, what would you say the psychology behind your music is?
It's just feel good stuff, I guess. The psychology behind it is just we're just trying to create something different. There's a lot of the same things going around right now.
Mm-hmm.
No one's doing anything different. No one's trying to change. Everyone's just trying to follow the script. We're trying to flip it.
That's interesting. Now, Sigmund Freud tried to do some different things when he came on the psychology scene. Would you two perhaps call yourselves the Sigmund Freud of hip-hop?
Sure, why not?
Yeah, I mean, not us two alone. And
Not us two alone.
There's five of
More of
us,
us.
but combined, we might as well all just be.
Oh, there are
Sigmund
five.
Freud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what are their names?
There's Dizzy Slim, there's Naj, there's Willpower the Messiah, and then there's us two. Yeah.
All right, that all sounds great. And, but I'm sure it'll sound even better when accompanied by beats and verses.
Facts.
So
Yeah, probably.
and facts. Yeah, but without any
And realness.
and realness, most importantly of all.
Real.
But without any further ado, further do's, prepare to analyze things a little differently after this performance of.
Too up to be down.
By Tri-State area.
All right, here we go.
Awesome. Yeah. I'm a little too shy to make sound. I'm a little too fly for the ground. I'm a little too up to be down, I'm a little too shy to make sound. I'm a little too fly for the ground. I'm a little too up to be down, So I'm feeling good as I should be. Not looking back on how I could be. Hindsight more like how could he blindside my eyes and I would see. But now my vision is bright. Forget the struggle and strife. Forget the hustle of life. Let's throw a party and forget the things that bring us down. Let's play the encore and start surfing in the crowd. Pow, pow, get loud. Go wild, say it proud, young child. Until my cassette drops, I'm just gonna live it up. Hanging with my homies, split a cup. Say what's up, even if it's been a while. Walk a mile while thinking of your mama's smile. She's a little too happy to frown. We're a little too up to be down, to be down, to be down.
I keep on loving you. With every verse I write, I keep my pen down tight. Hear my words singing out at night. I'm feeling good, I feel it in the air tonight. I keep on loving you. Yeah, hip-hop's my wife. Don't know what I would do if I couldn't rhyme. Like Chicken Little said, probably fall from the sky. So I spread my wings and now it's time to fly. Rewind, I'm going way back to 95. Way back when my mama was working that 9 to 5. So she could water her seed and make it grow and survive. So she can watch him bloom, just like the corsage he held in his hands when she snapped his pics at prom. Way back in the day when his notebooks were filled with empty lines. When he had no arsenal behind the enemy lines. Blah, blah. That kid got shot down, but he was feeling way too fly for the ground. He was feeling way too up to be down. Just a little bit too high for the crowd. He turned on a beat, couldn't believe what he found. Every day since he left that mic burnt brown. Hip-hop did a 180 and turned his life around. So now he killing tracks and making mama proud. I keep on loving you. With every verse I write, I keep my pen down tight. Hear my words singing out at night. I'm feeling good, I feel it in the air tonight. I keep on loving you. Yeah, hip-hop's my wife. Don't know what I would do if I couldn't rhyme. Like Chicken Little said, probably fall from the sky. And I'm a little too shy to make sound. I'm a little too fly for the ground. I'm a little too up to be down, to be down. I'm a little too shy to make sound. I'm a little too fly for the ground. I'm a little too up to be down, to be down. Life's going too swimmingly for me to drown. Feel like the royal family hand me the crown. Yeah, I am a star, you can't hold me down. Down, down.
Down below is where I fall. Till then I'm gonna stand tall. I'll keep running for us all, for us all, for us all.
This song, I wrote it for us all.
And as we listen, we should take a second and applaud.
Step back and look at what we've done and caused.
And be proud of it all because
we did what we had to do just to survive.
We made it in a day, so have some pride in your stride. And what keeps you alive
is your soul singing to you from inside. And I'm a little too shy to make sound. I'm a little too fly for the ground. I'm a little too up to be down, to be down. I'm a little too shy to make sound. I'm a little too fly for the ground. I'm a little too up to be down, to be down.
Hey,
And that was a sneak preview of another song off the album.
okay.
But that was lovely. Thank you so much for that. That was really, really nice.
I hope you're too up to be down.
Oh, now I can't even sit down. Good thing there's no chair for me. But that was...
We're just used to this by now, so we can sit pretty much right after.
Oh, no, good. Yeah, good. You know, that was... Yes. And I think I'll get used to it when I'm listening to the record over and over and over again. As all of you should be. But how might they do that?
You can find us anywhere online. Just Google 3 State Area. We're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're on SoundCloud, we're on DatPiff. Download our mixtape. This song you just heard is track 3 off of 132, which is our most recent mixtape. Came out a few weeks ago. And on that page you also have our first mixtape, our debut, which came out in October. Just go and support.
Yeah.
Alright, so just, and one more time, this is, no, I'm sorry, wait, I've just got, now I found myself, it's 3 State Area.
Yes. It's 3 State Area online. If you want to search for us, 3 State Area is the easiest way to find us. SoundCloud.com/3 State Area, Facebook.com/3 State Area, YouTube.com.
There are these guys that I guess they're associated with the airports. Mm-hmm. They already took the thing TSA from us.
Oh, okay.
So we can't quite use that.
Yeah, they're kind of whack. They kind of robbed us, but whatever.
Yeah. Well, screw those guys. So yes, but here we have 2 of the 5 3 State Area members.
Amen.
And that's Asthma and
Prince J.
Prince J. Prince J. And, I can speak for all of us Dans and say we've had a great time here today. Thank you both.
Thank you very much.
Please.
And remember, Dans, the show's going to be over after this point because this is the end of the episode. But there will be more shows to come and happen, and those are good too, if in the future. I think that because they will be. So thank you for being here this time, talking to us about psychology. Maybe next time we'll make talking about it, but maybe we won't. Bye.
Peace.
Amen.
Alright, that's a wrap.